up, y'all? It's Kymmy Coco, your host of Connecting the Dots. Me and my co-host Dom. Say hello, Dom.
What's going on, everybody?
Trill Manga and Jay Black.
What's going on with y'all?
Our producer, we welcome you. Welcome you. It's been a minute, y'all. We have so much to discuss, so we need to just get right into it because there is so much going on as usual, but we have missed so much. So let's get into it. First of all, since we've been on our little hiatus, I went to Denver and nobody had a mask on. Nobody had a mask on. Everybody was just out and about, and I was wondering if they were lying to us here in Georgia and if, like, really there's no such thing as COVID because nobody had a mask on for real, y'all. I went to a concert, had a great time, double masked up. Even though I was outside, it's just the proximity to other people. I didn't feel comfortable without one, so I had on one. Yeah. And I had on one, and the one person I saw that had one on, we were just like, she's just like, I feel like, what's going on? And she worked in the medical field, so she saw. Actually, she worked in the mortuary. Oh wow. Yeah, and so she and I felt each other, and so I just kind of got her perspective, and she was upset. She was like, "Why doesn't anybody? We're in line. Nobody's really social distancing. Yeah, we're outside, so the chances are low, but how we discussed, your space and your." Yeah. So, I don't know. But here in Georgia, Kemp deployed National Guard troops because of the coronavirus surge. Brian Kemp is preparing to call up as many as 2,500 additional Georgia National Guard troops to combat the resurgence of the coronavirus pandemic, which to me is like putting the horse before the... What did they say? Putting the cart before the horse, because he's never even put in a mask mandate. As a matter of fact, he has outlawed mask mandates. You can't have a mask mandate. He was going to sue the mayor of Atlanta because she wanted a mask mandate for her people in Atlanta. So for you to just like put all these people out here for the hospital, knowing that this is going to put people in the hospital without doing anything to prevent it, is crazy to me. Most of Georgia's hospitals are so crowded with COVID-19 patients that they have little or no room in their intensive care units. I last checked, it was 95% capacity. State health officials tracked 170 different outbreaks in the past week, which was that's every week on top of week. So which is the largest total since the start of the pandemic. And the majority of those are linked to schools. Fun fact. Dom, thank you for throwing that in, because it's easier to conceive if you know what you're talking about, right? Yeah. There's 152 counties in Georgia. Mm-hmm. That's a lot. And
they said they had 170 outbreaks that they were tracking just last week.
So there's several in some counties.
Yeah. But basically that averages out to it being an outbreak in every county in Georgia. So that just goes to show people like how serious this is. Like,
it's crazy. Yeah. The governor also announced a state subsidy designed to encourage more state employees and retirees to receive their vaccination. As a matter of fact, I think they gave them off on Friday of last week to get vaccinated, to boost the inoculation rates that are Georgia here. We're among the lowest.
Mm-hmm. Crazy, huh? Yeah.
I'm not surprised. I mean, the states that have governors that are saying stuff like,
it's a lot, huh? It's really interesting how he's trying to... I think it's interesting how, if we watch these politicians, how a lot of them are preaching, no mask mandates, the coronavirus isn't real, and most people don't realize that most of these political officials that are telling you this are vaccinated. They, we were talking about with Ted Cruz the other week and how his kids, their school has a mask mandate. Like, they social distance, but they're telling you the exact opposite thing. So it's just kind of ironic to see, how all this is playing out in real time.
I understand how some parents think that, wearing a mask is harming their children mentally. I mean, it's hard for kids to do that. I understand that. But if you want them to be in school at all, wearing a mask is the best way. That's the best way. The best way. And even though we know the children probably aren't going to keep the mask on, but at least if you have some that will, some that won't, but it's safer.
Yeah.
Because they shut down every time there's an outbreak. They have to keep shutting the schools down for weeks at a time.
Yeah.
You're not getting anywhere.
And that's the interesting thing I think that is going on in all of this. Like, of course, even here in Georgia, we've seen schools open, even in the opinion of scientists saying that like this is gonna be hard to do. And we've seen even here in Georgia, I think we were looking at Clayton County. It says like 8 schools within that county open and had to shut just within like a few
stopped
weeks
counting. I stopped counting. Like I was trying to keep up with it on our Instagram page. Y'all make sure you follow us on Instagram, CTD_ATL. I was trying to keep up with it, like when the schools closed, but after a while it was just so many.
Yeah.
I couldn't keep up with it. It's crazy. They're shutting the schools down as soon as they open them up.
Yeah.
For weeks at a time, days at a time. At one school, so many teachers had to quarantine. They had to shut the school down. And so all these teachers that we claimed that we were so happy and proud and we loved them last year, now we're like, these kids need to get out of the house by any means necessary. Send the kids back to school, mask, no mask, we don't care. And that's jeopardizing the lives of the teachers. They don't all feel like that.
Yeah. And that's another caveat that a lot of people aren't necessarily understanding. We talked about on the last show, the labor issue and how it's hard to find help, not just in one area, across the board. We seen the airline industry, canceling flights a few weeks ago. We see teachers now, like people don't realize like these classrooms are already packed.
Right.
They're averaging, most real teachers will tell you like it'd be 25 to 30 kids in a classroom.
They're over, right.
And then if a teacher catches COVID, there's a lack of substitute teachers right now. They can't just call somebody to come sub in the class.
Bus drivers, there's a bus driver shortage.
Yeah. So it's literally people aren't
risking their lives. They're doing this too.
And I think it's really interesting, even going back to the governor calling in the National Guard to help at hospitals. People literally, it's like it's not connecting. Like I have friends in the medical industry that like they're literally quitting their jobs. They're like, mentally they're like, I can't take this. People just aren't listening. We're seeing hospitals overcrowded. They're telling you every day like there's no room, and it's like it's a whole set of people that just is not connecting with them. Like they don't think it's real, or they not putting two and two together. And so it's making it really, really tough to, for things to get better. It's literally the situation just stacking on top of each other. And that's what we are.
I don't even know what to say.
It's crazy.
Have you seen more people get it?
I have been hearing about a lot more people. Not a lot more people, but I've heard like the resurgence of people saying they got it.
Yeah.
Since the summer's starting to wind down, I'm hearing a lot more people saying they catching COVID. Me personally, I don't think I know anybody that caught it.
And
I know a lot of people say their kids got it.
Yeah, and I personally.
But I knew that was gonna happen when school started.
Yeah, and I think even before the Delta variant showed up, like when the pandemic first started, like between immediate friends and like close circle, like I know of at least 4 or 5 friends that lost a parent, from COVID or like a close family member. And now with the Delta variant, I think 2 weeks ago I had a childhood friend that lived in Texas. He passed away from complications of COVID. And so I think now I feel like at this point in the pandemic, we've all, if we haven't had COVID, we know somebody that has had, and if we, or we know somebody that has passed, if not more than one person. So,
I know.
So once again, it's really interesting to me to the people that
aren't taking it seriously.
Yeah, or not even. It's a set of people that aren't taking it seriously, but then it's also another set of people that are climbing to the top of the mountain and spewing misinformation, or it's like they're going out of their way to make people not protect themselves or not take precaution. And I'm just looking like even I get on Instagram and Facebook every day, and it's just kind of like, out of all the stuff that we have to talk about,
I can't even go on there anymore.
Yeah,
I cannot.
And I think that's why it's just important to kind of like mind your own business. Because I seen some stuff like that. I seen somebody post on Instagram basically talking about, the conspiracy, stuff. And there's people literally comment under like, I've seen this firsthand. My parents did this. And it's just like, man, you got to just do what's best for you. Mm-hmm. Like, again, like it's not going to affect you till it hits home. Just like when you watch the news every day, like it's a murder every day.
Yeah.
But you just watch it and it just you on to the next because it's not affecting you, your family.
And that's the downside of it, because I feel like in communities we always think about other people, and then we can even think about, like, on the activism side, how we talk to people about police brutality all the time.
Right.
We talk about how often police are killing everyday citizens, and like everybody walks past, they keep going, and then the percentages start directing at them, like one of their family members or them, they get roughed up by the police or something, and now like they leading the pack of the movement, like but it's kind of like, at what point do you start not only looking out for yourself but looking out for other people? Because this is something that, like, if you don't look out for yourself or if you don't take it seriously, it can affect other people. And so that's my only struggle with it, because ideally I'm of the same mindset as you, like, what I'm saying, do what it takes to keep you and your family safe. Don't judge me and mine as long as we aren't putting you in danger. But what happens when you do start to put me in danger?
Right.
Yeah. So
what rights do you, like, everybody's like, I have the right. You have the right to decide whether you want to let your body run its course and fight it off if you get it, or if you want to get vaccinated. You have a choice whether you want to wear a mask or not. But where do my rights come in at if I don't want?
Well, I mean, I feel like we all, like, vaccinated, unvaccinated, we all got the same rules. Like, we all know
we still have to wear your mask.
I'm about to say, we know the mask is what protects us. So basically, if you're gonna take all the right steps, take all the right steps. Like, you really can't. You really gonna. I mean, in a perfect world, you can get everybody to be on the same page, but we know everybody's never really gonna be on the same page. So, like, okay, what can I do? Like, how can I hold myself accountable? What can I do to hold myself accountable to? Because I can't control what the other person do at the end of the day.
You know what else I find interesting is almost the privilege it takes to, because I'm very observant. When I go into a store or somewhere, most of them have, like, mask required, like, and I literally, and like, once again, whether I want to wear a mask or not, if I'm going into a private business and they say you got to have a mask on, I'm gonna put my mask on. But like, I stand in stores, like, what I'm saying, like, I've been in stores where, like, they literally have masks required. Everybody else, because, like, once again, I think it's natural at this point, before you walk in somewhere, to almost kind of peek in and be like, yo, like, they got masks on in there. And, like, you can literally be in a place where everybody has a mask on. You will see people look at the sign and still walk in without a mask, like, and they don't expect anybody to say something to them. They don't expect to be, like, corrected. And it's kind of like, dang, man, like, once again, not saying we can't make up our own rules. At home, do what you want to, or like, in your own space, do what you want to. But I feel like it's really interesting to for a certain set of people to walk onto private property or private
demand
business.
that
Yeah, it's like, do you not understand how this works? Like,
they don't want you to wear cloth masks on airplanes anymore.
I heard that, and they supply. I think it was always been like that though, because they supply you. Because they always been strict on the mask with the at the airport. They've always. I don't know if it was cloth, but it's always been like, nah.
The one with the filter on it, they don't allow those on planes.
Yeah, that's the one it was.
I have N95 masks specifically for flying.
Mm-hmm.
When I get off the plane, I put on my surgical mask and a mask on top of it. Yeah. And when I get outside, I just take them off. But I put on N95 for the flight, the whole flight.
Yeah.
I don't even like when they come around and ask you to drink anymore. I don't want anyone to ever take their mask off during the whole flight.
It's even worse on the flight because it's like recycled air, really, like that that air that's coming from
people
the top.
People are coughing.
Yeah, so
people are sneezing. I'm like, God, and I prayed, if you get me back home from Denver without anything, I'm not going anywhere else. And I'm not.
Denver did a number on you like that, Kymmy.
Denver did me like that because I was like, avoiding people, not getting in elevators with people that didn't have on masks. Like, you really are literally fighting a war of, you don't know. So I'm very,
but look, you taking accountability. Now you just gonna stay in the house. Like, fuck it, I'm not even about to deal with this. Like, you have a choice to deal with that too. Like, right? You using your choice. Like, okay,
because it's not fun when you got to do all that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I bought tickets in the summertime for stuff this fall. So that was one of the things. But I said, look, the time is running out. It's not that bad yet because school just started. And I said, but you only have a little window before it's a full-blown situation. And I think now, going into the winter, it's a full-blown situation. So I'm gonna go to my little concert I paid for, but I'm gonna be so far and away. Like, that's how I was in Denver. I went to the concert, but I was so far away. Like, you know me, I'm usually like, I want to be on stage. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm getting as close to the stage as I can, but not this one. I was off in the cut in the corner behind the tree. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it was just too. I'm not used to that anymore. I don't know if I ever will be. You know, but I'm not ready for that full blown people type shit.
For sure.
And I was outside, so I felt more comfortable. But you just don't know. You just don't know. Another situation we got going on out here, people are getting fake vaccine cards because the more and more venues, more and more people are saying, you know, we need you to have a vaccine card or a negative COVID test to get in. So people are faking it. Okay.
People gonna find a way.
If you don't believe in it, just don't fuck with it. Like, stand your ground.
It's starting to affect money. Like I said, it's starting to affect money.
Stand your ground and say, you know what? You're not respecting my rights to not get vaccinated, so I'm not gonna patronize your establishment. Yeah. So instead of that, you gonna face Fed time, get a fake vaccine card. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, that don't make sense. To pay for a free vaccine don't make sense. But nah, it's definitely starting to to affect money.
Yeah, more and more people are requiring it.
I do the concerts.
Right.
Live Nation, they requiring everybody to have vaccinations.
That works there?
Anybody that do. Like, I just did John Legend last weekend.
Did you have to get a COVID test?
Yeah, I had to get a COVID test both times. I got a COVID test both times. And, you know, before we could even go on the floor, like, it was like a 30-minute process. We had to go take the rapid COVID test. Yeah. And they just sent us an email. It was like, yeah, Live Nation going forward, you know, you have to be fully vaccinated. Like, it's starting to affect money. Like,
it's literally people are trying to protect their bag.
Yeah.
Like,
so are you gonna do it?
I'm vaccinated. I'm vaccinated.
Did you know that?
Breaking news.
I end up going
Jay Black has been vaccinated.
Yeah, I ended up going to get it. You know, it was just.
Did like you have any side effects?
Nah, it was just my arm was sore.
Okay, Jay Black.
It was my arm was sore, but nah,
Guess what? My daughter did too.
Yeah, it was just, you know, I was doing my research. Of course, I prayed on it or whatever. And
that's right.
It was just like, shoot. This was before they even told me, though.
Right.
This was before they even told me.
No, because you have been considering it.
Yeah.
And guess what? You're more protected than I am because mine is old. So the people that have it, that are just now getting it, they have the more robust antibodies because, you know, over time they wane. And so good for everyone here. So y'all don't get, okay, so listen to this girl. Allegedly now, because has she been charged? Has she been charged with did she get convicted?
She's been charged.
Okay.
It's like a group of 15, I want to say.
She allegedly, this is, what's her Instagram name was Annie Vax Mama. Prosecutors charged 15 people for alleged involvement in the conspiracy, according to a press release from the New York State District Attorney's Office. Jasmine Clifford, 31, a self-described entrepreneur from Lyndhurst, New Jersey, is accused of selling approximately 250 fake COVID-19 vaccination cards on Instagram, charging $200 per card. She's also charged with falsely entering at least 10 people into New York State's vaccine database for an additional $250. Sis, really? You going to jail.
Yeah,
she was putting in the records?
Yeah, it's like
she got into the database?
That's what I want people to realize. This wasn't just like a little rinky thing. Like, yo, let me slide you a card. Like, they was like legit.
Wow.
They had
so that leads me to think about another conspiracy out there. Some of the breakthrough cases, are all those people really vaccinated?
Exactly. And that's the question that it started to bring up. Like, once
But
again,
I think they test antibodies in the hospital so they can tell whether you're really vaccinated or not. But I don't know how many hospitals are really doing that. Do they have time when you're coming in the hospital, you need a damn ventilator?
That's what I'm about to say. Like, they don't really have the time. Like, hospitals are so overwhelmed. And, like, once again, they can tell if you're vaccinated or not by test. But once again, people are getting these fake vaccine cards and going to places or trying to get in places.
But, like what are you really proving to somebody by doing that? I mean, you're not standing your ground on what you allegedly believe in.
That's why I say it's more so has to do with having access to things. Like it's just a pass. It's
But
more
why
like
you
having
want to give people your
doctor's note.
money that don't believe in what you believe in?
No, they do believe in it. This lady, well, from my understanding, it sounds like she do believe in it because she's against the vaccine too. So she's helping the people that's not vaxxed. So it's just like, cause like I say, it's becoming a requirement for a lot of. I think in New York, damn near everything you have to have your card.
They
so
said New York pretty much on lockdown, like as far as like whether you vaccinated or not, like you're just not getting in some places.
But look at what New York went through when this all started.
Very true.
We're just getting what New York got last year.
Yeah,
I mean, it was bad here too, but now like our hospitals are full. They have the damn National Guard. Can you imagine you go to the hospital and there's a guy in an army uniform standing there to help you in a tent, like freaking like you're in the military or something?
Yeah.
This is crazy. And he's just letting it happen. He's just giving people their free. We got to get him out of here. Where's Stacy? She still didn't say she was running yet?
We need a bat signal for Stacey and like just
we got to
up in
get
city
rid of the
every
governor
night.
of Florida because they're affecting us. If you look at the map, the really bad COVID is on the borderline of Florida. We got to get rid of him. I just want to interject right here and my condolences to all the people in New Jersey that lost people from the storm. I pray that y'all get your stuff back. I looked helpless at my friends' apartments getting flooded and cars getting flooded. And usually, you know, I'm the girl that's like, yo, you know, a storm is coming. But this was like completely out of the blue. I knew it was going to rain there because I was on the phone with my friends and they were like, oh, it's raining. And I'm like, yeah, it's going to rain all day. But not like that. It was crazy. I you know, anybody out there, you know, reach out to us, use us. You know, we always say we're here for everybody. If you need like to raise money, if we can bring some awareness, hit us up. Louisiana, New York, New Jersey. If you guys were affected, hit us up. I mean, this is something that I would be willing. You willing to do that?
For sure.
No,
Because
I'm
I'm like really, I love my people, and I think that, you know, we got to stick together. So if you guys need anything, hit us up. We'll start something to help you out. I have a friend particularly whose house got flooded, so I'll hit her up and see if we can do something for her. But this chick right here in Lyndhurst, New Jersey, girl, she had 300,000 followers on her Instagram account, and she's facing charges of criminal possession of a forged instrument in the 2nd degree, offering false instrument for filing in 1st degree, conspiracy. Co-conspirator Nadeza Barkley, 27, is facing similar charges for using her position as a medical clinic worker in Patchogue to ensure New York State, to enter people's names into the New York State vaccine database. Wow.
So they had like
They had a whole situation.
Yeah, they had a vaccination card ring, and they literally had like people working at medical facilities, like, you know, people that had access to databases to enter them. Like they legit set up a
Well, I hope they,
operation.
you know, okay. You made your money, sis. I hope it was worth it.
She made $50,000 real quick. $200
That money was
pop.
looking good. I have the hiccups, y'all. If somebody could slide me
What you need?
a water. Okay, this one scared the crap out of me. I don't know what y'all think. Thank you, but I'm also probably older than y'all. Social Security Trust Fund projected to run out of money sooner than expected due to COVID.
You say you feel the way about this, Kim?
That's why I'm looking for a house now. Because, baby, if I need to lean on that for some rental income, Social Security Trust Fund most Americans rely on for their retirement will run out of money in 12 years. 1 year sooner than expected, according to an annual government report. You know, every year, I don't know if they do that anymore. They used to mail you what you'll get. The Social Security Administration, did you guys ever get that letter?
I think I did. I have got that before.
They mail you what you'll get when you retire from Social Security. They mail you that every year.
I think, once again, this is going to come into the age difference where, like, my age group, we already know we're not getting jack. We know it's going to be gone, so them letters probably just never came to us. Because it's kind of like, when I look at Social Security, like, I be taking it personal when I look at my check and, like, something coming out that's never going to benefit me.
Well, you're benefiting the people that are on it now.
for the next
That's how
10
it
years. That's what I'm saying. Like,
and then.
But what I'm saying is, like, I realize I'm paying into something to help other people that's never, because ideally the way Social Security was set up was once we retire, we pay into this, and you know, you can retire and they give you a check. What is it, like every month, so it's just one of those things where as a younger person, I was looking at that. I would hear Social Security is gonna run out. It's gonna run out. It's gonna run out. So it's kind of like, man, I'm just looking at this come out of my check. That's helping people now, but it's still gonna.
But I'm not gonna get it.
So I said the next 11 years.
Ain't that some
Y'all,
shit?
your generation is, your age group is really the ones that's really affected by this.
We are fucked.
Because
are you kidding me?
Still
we're
got
fucked.
Yeah, I was about to say,
We've
we
been
still
paying
got
into
time.
it for fucking 20,
Yeah.
30 years, and we're not
Yeah.
gonna get none of it.
We got time, and we not staying at jobs anyway, so we not even. That's not even in our mind. We got to figure this out.
What are we
on our
gonna
own.
do? I don't think anything. You know, I'm gonna have to break away this time. When it's time to vote, I'm breaking away. I'm breaking away from everybody because I don't see anything that is specifically dealing with my people, my age, my demographic at all. We jump on the wave of the younger kids because the younger kids are more radical, and so they get things done. I get it, right? That's the like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's and all those people in the Senate and in the Congress that are more radical. They're younger. They're getting the things done that we generation before us kind of like, you know, paved the way to do. But what about us? Like you said, this affects us more than anyone. Gen X.
You're Gen X?
Yes.
Okay. And that is, so you guys aren't baby boomers, which baby boomers.
Oh, they're straight. They're already getting Social Security.
But that's what goes back to. I was reading this book a few years ago, and it was called Baby Boomers: A Generational Sociopaths. You know,
I heard of that book.
Yeah, and it talks about how before the baby boomers, which is the largest, you know, group of births, you know, before this generation, which is why you see the war generation now, because there are just as many younger people as there are older people,
and there's not as many of us. Is that what happened?
Yeah, and that's well. Baby boomers, they're starting to die out. So that generation, for the first time, has another generation that's completely opposite of it, that has the numbers they do to affect voting, affect local, you know what I'm saying?
And
changes.
that's why, that's why like Bernie Sanders was their candidate.
Yeah. And so like you said, younger people are radical, and like the AOCs and like a lot of younger people, they realize that like, yo, like how you were saying, like, dang, I've been paying this for 25, almost 30 years, and it's getting to the point now that you've invested so heavily in something that's not going to benefit you. Whereas younger kids, like Jay Black was saying, like, we realize like jobs not giving us, you know, man, some jobs don't even give you 401k no more. Like, you know, it's not a set. Ain't nobody
they used to give pension.
Yeah,
you guys are too young to remember
and
that.
pensions are a thing of the past almost, which is sad.
Profit sharing.
Yeah, and so stuff like that, we realize that nobody's gonna take care of that, so we have to invest in other ways to make sure that we're taken care of when we get older and want to retire, because we know it's not gonna be no Social Security. It's not gonna be any, you know, benefits outside of the investments that we made to retire. And that's a tough thing, because like a lot of people, when you're young, you're not thinking about retirement. You're not thinking about.
But that's when you should, because you need to start saving as much as you can.
You should, but like once again, think about a young person's mindset versus think about
the importance of it.
Yeah,
I mean, but when you get to be
but
in
check
your
this
40s,
out also.
It's too late.
It's too late.
But check this out though, and this is another caveat. Like our generation, I would say people from 45, from 18 to 45. Historically, and you can look this up, we're the most educated, you know what I'm saying, generation there's ever been, but we're also the lowest paid. So it's kind of like you're asking young people to save.
You're most indebted.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Like you're in debt when you finish college. You know, we'll say we'll average $50,000. People are asking you to save for retirement. That and like you can't find a suitable place to live within reason. You know, just think about it.
And you're already coming into it with debt.
Yeah, so think about being a young person nowadays, whereas our grandparents and all them, they could buy a house with a high school diploma, like, you know what I'm saying, or maybe not.
But
even
because they worked, right? They had a boom of labor. The Industrial Revolution gave them more jobs.
And where is but once again, that goes back to what we call skilled labor.
Well, this is what my grandfather told me. If you're not gonna use your head, you're gonna end up having to use your hands.
Yeah.
So.
And what we've done,
we've created a group of heads, right? Thinkers, not many skilled laborers, and I'm not sure that was the right direction to go in.
And that's where you see from. Even I look at high school programs now, like how we become up. We have vocational programs. They'll teach you how to farm. They'll teach you. You had shop where they teach you how to fix a car, different stuff like that. And you look at schools now, and ain't none of that there.
Well, nobody knows how to do any of that stuff anymore.
I feel like, because the hand stuff, a lot of robots are taking that. But I feel like I want black people to be more using their head, because we always been using our hands. And if we really look at everything, the people that's succeed, or I ain't gonna say successful, that's making the most money in this country, they're not using their hands.
They're using their head.
You feel me? The Rothschilds, the Walmarts, these families with the big generation, they're not in the stores using their hands. Like, and I feel I want us to get to that point to where.
And
let's use our head.
But I feel like I definitely think we'll get to that point, and I think the good thing about this generation is we're starting to see people break through those barriers. You got families like the Waltons and the Rothschilds and stuff like that. They've been doing cricket stuff for generations. You know how much cricket stuff we have to do to catch up.
And that's what I'm saying. And
I know it, but listen, it's crooked. It's crooked, but to be a criminal, you have to be smart. You have to use your mind.
And
that's
I agree
all,
with you on that.
You know,
and that's
mental
what I'm getting
head.
to. It's kind of like if we're going to catch up, we got to start, because the thing that's taught to us in our communities is to keep your head down, follow all the rules,
right.
And, and you realize it's a whole nother set of opponents that don't care about none of that stuff.
Right.
Like, they just want to be first, or they want to stay on top, and it matters. And so I'm glad to see black people start to take over in technology spots, and you know what I'm saying, so
because you can't, the businesses of the people that started that use their heads, they're not going to work without people that's using their hands.
Right. And that's the balance, because like we start sending people to college and we quit sending them to trades, because like that's one thing I love about my dad. He's a super smart dude, but I
think you should know how to do both. I think we're not gonna have gender specific roles. Don't start fucking telling me about that. Especially men. I think men should be able to do
I agree with that.
Both.
No, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that completely.
Yeah. Because women are expected to
I think it should just be. I definitely feel like it should just be something like in your toolbox of things.
Yes.
It don't have to be like your everyday.
Right.
You beating your body up every day.
But you should be able to do an
but
oil change, a tire, paint, put something up.
I mean, and that's the same with women. Like, women should be able to do certain things.
You should be able to be self-sufficient.
And that's why we need each other.
Yeah.
And that's another reason why we need each other, because in a few years, you're not going to have Social Security to fall back on. And 2 incomes is also better than 1.
But we got the information now, so we can prepare a little bit.
We can prepare.
A little bit longer.
Everybody get married.
Everybody get married. That's the solution.
I just came from a wedding last week, man. Shout out to my cousins. They got
yeah,
married.
you was looking sharp. I saw you.
That what you were looking sharp for. I seen he posted a picture. I was like, look at my boy.
Yeah. Shout out to my cousins. They got married after I think they was together. They've been together for a while, but so it was a real nice wedding. Good seeing the fam.
See what I'm saying?
Nothing like love, man. Nothing like it.
It's beautiful.
Love to see it.
Speaking of love, or the lack thereof, there's a big move on abortion in Texas. A new Texas law bans abortions at 6 weeks. We've talked about this before. They tried this in Alabama a few years ago. They've tried this in several states. But Texas, of course, was successful because, like we always say, Texas is the guinea pig for fucked up laws. That's where they start, and that's where they are born. A new Texas law bans abortions at 6 weeks, which is sometimes before a woman knows that she's pregnant. I know you guys don't know anything about this. Let me explain. So, you think you're pregnant. Usually, you don't find out until you miss your period, which doesn't come for, it could be another month, right? So you're now 4 weeks, and you're starting, you don't even think you might be pregnant until a month after, maybe, or your period doesn't show up. And your period could be a month away. So we were already talking about 4 weeks, right?
Yep.
So then you're thinking, I think I'm pregnant. I didn't get my period. My period could be late. Okay. So you keep on going. Okay, now you're thinking it's stress. Well, maybe because I'm stressed about not getting it. And you're like, okay, fuck it, I'll take a pregnancy test. That could be 6 weeks. Mm-hmm. And at that point in Texas, it's illegal to get an abortion. And not only that, they're encouraging people to tell if someone does get one.
Yes.
Court orders have previously blocked similar 6-week bans from being in effect in 8 other states. Law bars abortions once cardiac activity can be detected in the embryo. This typically occurs around the 6th week of pregnancy. Under the Texas law, a woman would have about 2 weeks to recognize her condition, confirm the pregnancy with a test, and make a decision about how to manage the pregnancy and obtain the abortion. It's extremely possible and very common for people to get to the 6 week may not know that they are pregnant, according to an OBGYN from the American College of OBGYNs. I'm not even going to try to attempt to pronounce this person's name. If you saw it, you would know what I'm talking about. The law does not make exceptions for rape or incest. Should I read that again? The law does not make exceptions for rape or incest. It does permit abortions for health reasons, but the exceptions are narrowly drawn, allowing a termination, 1, if the pregnancy would endanger the mother's life, lead. Did I miss the other part? To substantial and irreversible impairment of a major bodily function. So, that's fucked up. But guess what else went into effect in Texas? You can open carry a gun. No. Without ever having training or any sort of anything, which made me think of a specific case that happened about 20 years ago. None other than Ray Caruth.
Oh, man.
The girl got pregnant.
Yep.
He didn't want her to go through with it. He hired somebody to shoot her. And that's what they're setting women up in Texas for. Because you can just walk around the street with an open gun, right? And say a girl gets pregnant. You're the one that's the right. She's wrong. In the law, in the eyes of the law. Mm-hmm. That's just opening the door for so much foolishness and fuckery. I can't even tell you how I've been like numb. Like, I haven't really been on social media a lot because I'm just like, it's too much dumb shit going on. Like, this is way too serious. I don't even think people are paying that much of attention to it because it's in Texas. But what happens is, if you let one Republican get away with something like we've seen in the past, they all try to get away with it because they're losing right now, right? So they are trying to gain control somehow. So what they're going to do is galvanize people that are quote unquote pro-life. And this is what we're facing right now.
I think that it's very interesting to see how, on one hand, they are banning abortions. That basically, I feel like, once again, I always said, everybody wants to start crying when the nation starts treating everybody like they're black people. And I say that in the sense of black people here in America, from our genesis, we've had to, even for voting, they make you jump through hoops to still put you in a situation where you're going to fail.
We had laws specifically targeting us. Yeah. The Jim Crow laws, the black codes, all of that. Right.
Yeah, so I want women to realize, that you guys really need to band together, because even as a guy, I feel like even by default, it's nothing I can tell you about your body, you know what I'm saying, as a woman, and I'm a guy. That's just...
But the funny thing is, men are like, hey, we're going to stay out of this because that's your body. But we can't get pregnant without y'all.
And not even that.
Think about how casual sex is nowadays. And that's all you need to do to get pregnant.
Yeah.
You don't need to be in love with the person. You don't need to care about the person. You don't have to know the person. You can get pregnant just from having sex. Yeah. That's all it takes. So for men, all these guys that swear up and down that it's not fair when a woman has a baby, and where y'all at? That he didn't want, that he didn't want to take care of, that he don't want to pay for it. Where are y'all at? Why aren't y'all saying anything?
And check this out. An expert, a doctor, and a lawyer in Texas brought up a very good point about, okay, if the state wants to mandate that abortions are illegal, it also sets another precedence on at what point do you actually start taking care of an embryo? Because at that point,
should I be getting my tax?
Yeah, taxes. When does child support start? Does that start at 6 weeks too? So just the care of the mother, like so many different things come into question with this rule, and it's kind of like, once again, like you said, guys need to pay attention too, because two people involved in the pregnancy, and when that baby gets here, all the rules that come with it ideally should affect you also. So you can't be passive on this, because
you can't be passive.
I hear so many guys talk about how the system is out to get them, and child support this and child support that, and it's not fair, when I feel like, once again, people don't think things through. And on the surface, it's easy to be like, yeah, this is great. And then when it happens to you, or you get a young lady pregnant, and it's a lot of other stuff involved now, once again,
because I see y'all out here, and the way y'all not wearing masks, I don't think you wear condoms either. That's just what I think. I don't think y'all wear condoms. I don't think y'all wash your hands. The way people overreacted to the fact that they needed to wear masks around people in public was like they made you sleep in it or whatever. Like no. The way people react, I don't think y'all wear condoms.
There's a lot of people walking around here, so somebody not wearing them. Like, these people not getting here by themselves.
But seriously, on like just hypothetical scenarios, you're a guy, you have sex with a woman, she gets pregnant, she can't get an abortion. She didn't find out till it was too late. What you gonna do? You don't even know this girl. Yep. So now for 18 years, you're responsible for a child.
We'll say.
So that's why I don't get why men aren't more. I get why they're taking the back seat, because it's a woman's decision, but at some point she's gonna have to let you know too.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think more people should be more upset about this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like, okay, I get it. You don't believe in abortion because you're a Christian. Okay. But do you believe in fornication? Because that's usually how people get pregnant. Right. So, I mean, like, how do you legislate morality? Mm-hmm. Because if you were that Christian, you wouldn't have been having sex with somebody you didn't want to have kids with in the first place. Mm-hmm. So at what point do you step in as a legislator and you let God step in and convict this person's spirit of being in, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just trying to wrap my head around the people that think this is cool. Why do you think that's cool? How far are we going to get with this? To prevent it from getting this far, are we going to outlaw fornication now?
That's why I've always thought, like, the separation of church and state is kind of jokey. Like,
it's a joke. This whole country was built on the beliefs of the people that got here.
Yeah, so, like, when people say that, it's kind of like, at what part of American history are you talking about? Because there really has never been one where there's been a true separation of church and state. And, like, stuff like this, like, further proves the point of, like, people use stuff like that when it's convenient for them, but when it doesn't work for them, they have other beliefs. So, once again, people, they'll never let you down.
This is for you guys, because clearly I'm never going to get pregnant again. You know what I'm saying? I don't really have anything to do with this, to be honest with you, but I think it's a good idea to give people a choice.
Yeah.
I really do.
And, like, I just, like, even as a guy, like, I don't just look at the surface of what's happening. Like, I look at, and, like, even with women's rights in general, because, like, I always tell people, like, I have a mom, I have a sister, I have friends that I care about that are women. So it really leads you to believe. Like, I watch this show, and I'm pretty sure you guys may be familiar with it. It's called A Handmaid's Tale. It comes on Hulu.
I've not seen it, but I have seen a lot of memes referencing that show in regards to Texas.
Check on it out. Instagram. I feel like even if you don't watch the whole thing,
I don't have Netflix.
I'll let you borrow my Hulu. I got you.
Hulu?
Got you. Yeah, it's on Hulu.
Then I can watch Wu-Tang Clan.
See, you get a lot of value out of that already. But in Handmaid's Tale, it tells the story of a society where women literally have no rights. Like, say for instance,
they rushing to get them women out of Afghanistan, but y'all doing us like that over here. So I don't know what.
But basically, like, you went to work on Tuesday, this upcoming Tuesday, and they told you were fired. You couldn't work anymore because you're a woman. Then you leave work to go to the grocery store. You try to use your card. It declines. Like, they transfer all of your money that you had in your account to the closest male kin of yours, and now they're in control of your decision making, how you spend money, all that stuff like that. And it creates a society where women are literally powerless. And it's like a virus or something going along where a certain set of women can't get pregnant anymore. So it's only like a very small circle of women that can get pregnant, and they make them into handmaids. And your job as a handmaid is to go have babies for families that, you know, the wife is bearing or something like that. And so it literally becomes a story of, I joke and say it's the story of oppressed white women because it shows you what happens if you don't check things like the abortion ban. Like it's almost like if you could go 30 years into the future of Texas abortion ban, but made it all over the United States, it literally tells the story of what would happen.
Well, women used to not be able to vote, and women used to not be able to own property. Mm-hmm. So I mean, that was here in this country.
Yeah.
So I get it. We're not dealing with the same kind of men that were around back then. Mm-hmm. The ones that used to build their own house and like go kill animals to feed the family. So if I were a man, I suggest y'all get on our team and help protect our rights, because a lot of us are the head of a lot of these households.
It's a fine line men can walk when they speaking on women.
Well, you don't have to necessarily pick a woman that you could get behind and support her. Then,
and that's what I was about to say. That's the
you don't necessarily have to be the spokesperson, but point somebody in the direction of a woman that you agree with, and do it like that. That's what I think.
And that's literally especially as an activist, like that's one thing I learned very, very quickly.
Right.
Is that, not saying I don't have an opinion on women's rights or anything like that, but it's not necessarily my arena to. I'm not gonna be at the front of the line leading the pack when it comes to women. I'm gonna get behind you and support.
Yeah, I'm following the lead.
What
Whatever,
you need, like
I'm not
because
initiating nothing.
Right.
Yeah, I've seen some dudes have the best intentions in the world and come back with bullet holes all in their cake just because a woman felt they were out of line speaking, or like, so it's just kind of like,
because that's really essentially what we dealing with now. Like, these governors, they're on the opposite side of what a lot of women believe, but they're initiating things. You just gotta, again, I feel like a woman that's in position, like in the government position, should be making decisions on that.
Yeah. In Texas, it's kind of like Stepford Wives. Mm-hmm. So a lot of women go with what their husband does in the suburban areas, which is a large part of it.
So I mean, that what you saying that means sense. Voting works in their country. They all have the same, their values align. So it's like, we live in Georgia. The people in Texas, their values align with what their governors are, from what you're saying. So it's like, we can't be outraged in our state when this is just how things run in this state. Like, this is how things go. Like,
pretty much.
I think it's one of those things too, going back to our city, Atlanta. What's the big thing now? And one thing we champion very, very much, even from New Jersey, even from Ohio, even from Mississippi, Atlanta influences everything. And so Texas is one of those places also.
Texas influences everything politically.
Yeah, and so when you look
Atlanta influences everything culturally.
Yeah, I want to show people, like, once again, sometimes you have to connect the dots. Texas is the second largest state in the United States, has a huge population. So when it comes to voting, when it comes to politics, when it comes to representation, like, Texas
that's
is pretty
important. They have a lot of.
And so when you start realizing things like that, even the abortion ban, you want to know why Texas is one of the first to do the abortion bans? Like, this 2020 census, for the first time,
right?
Literally, go look it up.
We already talked about it on here.
Yeah, like, for the first time,
yeah,
white people, who are the largest percentage of people in the United States, for the first time ever, their population is on decline, and minorities are, they're about to take over the United States. And so when it comes to preserving
their community, that's what they're doing.
There's an abortion ban for a reason. They want more babies born, because the numbers are literally showing that at this rate, they're not going to be here, in the sense they are for much longer as the mass to control things. And so you're going to start seeing more extreme measures to preserve certain communities and to, preserve
and to
themselves.
Me, the no mask is to hurt us. Mm-hmm. Because more of us well, statistically, black people were affected more, whether it be the essential workers, whether it be the older people, whether it be the people with underlying health conditions. At the time when COVID first started surging, so I'm like, what y'all trying to do?
And that's what makes me so mad when I see us as black people
saying
yeah,
me too. I'm like, where'd you get that from?
Black people are only roughly 13% of the population of the United States. So, like, once again, if white people who are the mass population, like if 500,000 white people die from COVID and 500,000 black people die from COVID,
it's affecting us more.
Way more.
Right.
And so that's why, once again, I get so irritated when I hear leaders and all these misinformed people spinning.
Well, they say that the most miscommunication on the internet is they can boil it down to 12 people. Mm-hmm. And if you think about it, and when you hear people talking about it and you follow their social media, mm-hmm. it usually traces back to one of those people. It's crazy how it is. Good news, Ahmaud Arbery case. Jackie Johnson, the prosecutor who allowed the truth surrounding Ahmaud Arbery's murder to be concealed from the public, was criminally indicted by the Georgia Attorney General. Prosecutors must be held accountable when they interfere with investigations in order to protect friends and law enforcement. We will continue to pursue charges against George Barnhill, who received the case from the Johnson and immediately went to work attacking the character of Ahmaud Arbery and making material misrepresentations of the facts involved in the brutal murder. Ahmaud's mother, Wanda Cooper, is grateful for everyone who continues to advocate for justice for Ahmaud and for accountability at every level. And that was a quote from attorney Lee Merritt, who I met the other day.
Oh, nice.
Great guy. If you're in Texas, please vote for him and anybody else besides Greg Abbott next time. We'll find out who else is running against him and get him the hell out of there.
He's running for Attorney General?
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Lee Merritt is running for Attorney General of Texas.
Did y'all hear about that story? Acquitted man that the charge got dropped, right?
Yeah.
The guy, it was something around the George Floyd thing. He basically shot at the police. He was in the crowd. He's protecting himself. He shot at the police, but he ended up getting acquitted.
I saw that literally 10 minutes ago.
Okay.
I did. Also, phone records have been subpoenaed for Trump's family and Trump's associates that by the January 6th committee. Mm-hmm. The January 6th attack on the Capitol Hill requested documents from multiple government agencies and Trump confidants, including communication involving some of the former president's family members and close associates. So they're getting their phone records. They're getting that all together to see who was involved in January 6th. And indictments might be coming down the line. Also, the January 6th, the Proud Boys and the other people, they're going to have another rally insurrection at the Capitol coming up soon to support the people that were arrested. Mm-hmm. They're going to have a rally to support those people. Yeah. Also, a lawyer representing 17 criminal defendants in the Capitol riot cases has reportedly been missing court appearances, and they can't find him.
Man.
So I don't know.
He was probably ducked off somewhere. I'd be ducked off too if I was him.
Yeah, some of this stuff is just gonna get crazier and crazier. But of course, we will keep an eye out and come back and discuss it with you all. Was there anything else y'all wanted to talk about?
What y'all think about the Ja Rule and Fat Joe versus?
The what now?
The Ja Rule and Fat Joe versus.
Ja Rule and Fat Joe are doing a versus.
No disrespect to New York. I'm gonna just let them have it again.
No disrespect to New York.
They ride too high off that Jadakiss.
Right.
Like that's what y'all come with now.
Yeah, y'all should have just stayed there.
Right.
Went to the
keep
South,
it good,
went to Florida. Or
I
something.
can think of a million other verses that people wanted, and this is not one of them.
Yeah.
I don't think. Once again, it's kind of like if you're gonna match people up. Like one, I like Fat Joe, but I don't think like who you want to see Fat Joe in the verses against. Like he's not really that.
Fat Joe gonna have a lot of hits that we don't like. Damn, I forgot.
He got hits.
Yeah, it's
but
like damn, I forgot.
Still,
about
like nobody wants to see.
I'm not interested.
Yeah, I don't think I am either.
I can't even look Ja Rule in his face for real after that whole thing with the Fire Festival. I can't even look him in his face. Like, he's such a
They
clown.
never
to
gonna
me
let
now.
him live that down, man.
I mean, that's just such a clown shit. Like, all that was clown shit. And I just look at him totally different. Not like I was a huge fan before, but I could, now I just, every time I see him, I get annoyed. He got a lot of hits. Oh, absolutely.
Like, even with his beef with 50, like, 50 talked about this nigga and took his style, like.
Right.
Like, it was crazy.
Right.
Like, everything that these rappers are doing today, Ja Rule was doing that singing and rapping.
Yeah.
But they just doing it with auto-tune. But Ja Rule was doing that before all them. Like, he was
kicking
the first.
Monster voice, the whole thing.
Yeah.
No auto-tune.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is
And
that.
he can rap, though. Like, and
Yeah.
Ja Rule was spitting. He used to spit. I like Ja Rule. I always like Ja Rule. But, a lot of stuff be like, the outside stuff making people look like clowns, and they start taking away from their legacy. For real.
Yeah.
But that's why I think it's so important. Like, that's one thing I think sometimes people don't necessarily. I won't say people don't think about their legacy, but in today's society, everything is under a microscope.
It was hard to transition from the era of no social media into social media.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think some people are
'Cause
still
he was on that
struggling with
cusp.
that.
Like-
But Joe found a niche. Like, he's a funny guy. He's got some charisma, so he does his podcast and stuff. And so, I think they're doing it more so for popularity now. Like,
Definitely.
because it's hard to find groups that people really have a universal appeal. I think they've done a lot of the people that have universal appeal, and you have to be willing to want to do it too.
The bigger ones, they're not doing it.
Right.
It's a certain level of artist that's just not
Right,
gonna
you have
do
to
a
get
versus.
that mid-level,
Yeah,
like
the A to B range,
Right.
A minus B.
yeah, to put them over the edge. You know what I'm saying? I think that we'll get some better ones going forward, but this
I think
ain't one of them.
I think it'll be entertaining.
It will.
We gonna
People
get a
are
lot
gonna
of
watch it
memes.
because they
It's
just
gonna be a
watch
lot
all
of
the
memes.
verses.
Right.
Right.
It's
People
gonna be
watch
entertaining.
all the verses, so they're gonna watch it. But I'm not like I was before. Like, I'm not like blocking off the time and calling my friends. Like, I'm not doing that. Yeah, we will definitely be connecting with you guys. Make sure you follow us, CTD_ATL. And also, Dom, Mississippi Candles. Are you guys still having a sale?
Yes. So Mississippi Candles, SoMississippi.com, SEAUXMS.com. We are celebrating our first year in business. Thank you guys for all the support. We have $10 candles all weekend, including the holiday tomorrow. So make sure to go to the website, check them out, get you a few, make great presents. They make your house smell good. So rock with us.
We gotta make a code for the CTD listeners because they come out Tuesday. This come out Tuesday, so when they hear this, it's gonna be too late. They gonna miss the sale. So.
And Jay Black, what you got going on?
Black On is dropping next Monday. So when you hear this, the 13th, so September 13th, Black On is dropping. I'm super excited about it. I was able to work with a lot of, my peers, like with a lot of
people
help
in the
from
business.
people. And, I put in a lot of work in it, and I'm looking forward to, putting it out, highlighting these businesses, and
Is that also on InnovativeLifeStation.com?
Yeah, it'll be on Innovative.
So you can listen to our sister show on InnovativeLifeStation.com and where you listen to our show at. And we will see you guys next week. Peace.
Peace.